Welcome back to another video, and today I'll be discussing newest makeup announcements and releases. Welcome back, and it's time for my weekly makeup news video. First, before we go into the launches, housekeeping. I am going to be away the next or the weekend when this video is going to go live, so there's going to be a 1 week break when you're not getting any uploads because I'm actually going to be leaving already like on Friday to a trip, and then I'm gonna be back on Sunday, and because I'm obviously very much still in like work season also, so I don't have time to film in the middle of the week, so you are getting 1 week with no videos, but then we should be back to the normal schedule. Now that about housekeeping about this week, so I think like almost every indie brand this week launched a new eyeshadow palette. I was like looking at my Instagram folder thinking that which indie brand didn't either announce or launch their palette. So this is a very palette heavy video, which of course is good for someone like me who likes talking about eyeshadow palettes, but if that's not your thing, then you can already be prepared that this week's makeup news might not be for you. But if you are as excited as I am for new eyeshadow palettes, then keep on watching. Okay, first one, a non-indie release. So this is from Colourpop. Colourpop is launching another 9-pan. I think they have now launched like 3 new 9-pans in a very short time span, because we had the pink one, we also got the smoky one, and now we have this one. So this is the peach jelly eyeshadow. I do think that if you have the original 9-pan peach eyeshadow palette that came in, peach themed eyeshadow palette that came in the plastic packaging, I actually used to own that one. That was like a way back when I used to order Colourpop, and I remember I actually think I got a set with all the like monochromatic 9-pans. So if you have that one, I do think you necessarily don't need this one, but if you are in a need of a peachy 9-pan, and especially if you live in US where Colourpop is easily accessible and you're looking for something pretty decently priced, this could be something to look into. Then let's go to the first sort of indie palette launch, and this is actually something that I did sneak peek on my previous makeup news video. So Epic Beauty, which is Monolith Shop's in-house makeup brand. So Monolith Shop is a EU-based indie brand retailer, but they do actually ship internationally. And they have now launched their own brand, and within that own brand they have now come out with their first product, which was a eyeshadow palette. So this is the Jewels of Eternity. Actually, during the day when I'm filming this, Monolith Shop just had their sort of, I think they called it like a May mini launch, but I don't think that it was that mini, because I do think there was actually like quite a lot of new things available on that launch. I actually did shop the launch. We're gonna be seeing the palette soon that I did actually shop from the launch, but this one I did decide to skip. I was kind of like eyeing this particular palette, but then I went to kind of got the conclusion that it is still pretty like a purple, bit of like jewel tone heavy, even if there are also tones in this one that I do like, and it is a like bigger palette, but I decided to skip this one. But I do still think this is a very beautiful palette. I'm kind of thinking that, yeah, maybe if this would be on sale, I could be more tempted to get this one, but for the full price, I was kind of thinking that, well, it's very pretty. It was not exactly the kind of color story that I was looking for. Then a Blend Bunny collection, another Blend Bunny collection in a like launch in a very short time span, and I'm also very interested in this one. I'm gonna be very much in trouble if this. So this one was not on the Monolith Shop May launch. This is actually, what is this actually called? Psilocybin. I hope I'm pronouncing that wrong. That is a very, I actually don't know what that means. I have to okay. Wait, I think Angelica Nyquist said in her video that it's some sort of a psychedelic ingredient in mushrooms or something. Please Google, don't reference but that's kind of what I understood this to be. But for me, when I saw the name of this collection, I was like thinking, what is that word and what does it mean? We can clearly see English, it's not the first language in this channel. Anyway, about this collection, I can kind of get the like theme. It's a very... Actually, I was expecting maybe the eyeshadow palette. I do kind of think that the way they were teasing this collection, the cheek palettes and the glosses that are included in this one, those are very like, I would say, on theme for the collection. But then when I actually saw the eyeshadow palette, I was actually surprised because there's only like half a colorful side. It's almost like this neon acidy colors, and then we get a cool tones side. Now, as a fan of cool tone eyeshadows, I'm not actually too mad about this one. But as I said, I'm gonna be very much in trouble because I'm kind of thinking that these might be launching on Monolith Shop the same time as the revamped blends palette is gonna be, so we might have a situation where there might be 2 very huge Blend Bunny palettes available, and I also do want at least one of the cheek palettes. Actually, I would like to maybe get both of them and maybe even try one of the glosses. Oh dear, this is gonna be a nightmare when these are gonna be launching. When is this actually gonna be available on Blend Bunny's own website? This is actually launched on Blend Bunny's own website, so you can get it from there, but if you are shopping within European Union, I would wait for Knowledge Shop. I'm a bit unsure, is this gonna make it to the June launch, or do you, for example, have to wait until July? Because sometimes, especially with Blend Bunny's products, it can take time for them to come to Knowledge Shop. But I have to say, even though the collection name is a bit difficult, I do kind of like the collection as a whole. Then to the collection or part of it that I did shop on the Monolith launch. So first one, so Singe Beauty had their new launch. I was very happy about this one because if you've been following Angie, who is the owner of this particular brand, she has had a very, how should I say, tough time moving from the US back to Europe. I believe she's now living in Italy with her husband, and she has had posted quite a few videos telling all the difficulties that has come out of moving to there. So I'm happy that Singe is launching new products, and Angie is able to do still the things that with her company, even if her personal life has been going through some changes. First thing that I'm not very interested in this launch, but I'm gonna show it. So first one, they came out with some faux lashes, so this is also a first product in their line. And I do have to say that in terms of lashes, these are, I would say that these are not the most dramatic ones, but they are also not the most subtle ones, so I think these kind of go in between, and one of them, these look more like a half lash. You can get the lashes either individually, so they are $13 US each, or if you want to get the collection, all three of them, you can get them for $30 US. Now, what was the most interesting thing in this launch, and this is the thing that I actually did shop from the Monolith launch, so there is a new palette, and this is called the Huldra palette. You can watch Angie's sort of real video about this collection, and where she goes through the mythology behind this character and what the kind of character is. But in terms of the color story, I was immediately thinking that this is very nice in between palette, where there's kind of muted colors, there's a bit of the kind of purple tones that I like, and then you get some neutrals included. This is bigger than the other Singe palettes. I was actually kind of thought that it's nice that we are experimenting with some new palette sizes. And I do have to say, based on Angie's swatches, the shimmers and both the mattes look very beautiful, so I'm very excited to get this one. And you can get this now both on Singe Beauty's own website and on Monolith Shop, but I'm not gonna guarantee, because Singe seems to be one of those brands that does tend to sell out on Monolith Shop launches, so by the time this video goes live, I'm not gonna promise that this is still available, but I just managed to get this one. I'm excited to get this on my hands hopefully soon. Makeup Revolution is launching a new brow product, so this is the locked-in brow for up to 12 hours, so this is supposed to be one of these longer brow gels. This has a very similar brush than one of the NYX brow product had a bit more slanted plastic brush. I'm not a person, we all know that I don't usually do my eyebrows. I usually do them for very special occasions, but if you were looking for a new brow gel from Makeup Revolution, I think this is already available on their website. Then a high-end collection that I was kinda initially pretty excited, but then when I realized that this the special edition theme doesn't actually go beyond the cardboard packaging, I was a bit disappointed. So Lisa Eldridge has come out with a limited edition Marilyn Monroe collection, and when I initially saw this, I was like that, okay, this could maybe be actually the product from Lisa Eldridge that I might actually want to order, because I do enjoy Marilyn Monroe's movies. I do kind of like her style, even though her makeup style is very different from what, for example, I wear, but I can appreciate her, how well she acted in the movies, and the style, pretty nice style she had. But unfortunately, when you actually start looking at these products, the limited edition packaging, it's not included in the product packaging itself. And for me, this is always a bit of a gripe with brands, because I'm a bit unsure that are these more expensive per se than Lisa Eldridge's normal products, but it's kind of you are gonna most likely throw away the cardboard packaging, or if you do save it, then the cardboard packaging is something that it tends to wear out more quickly than the actual product packaging. So I wish we could have maybe had something a bit more special within the product packaging itself, rather than just having the Marilyn Monroe image on the cardboard packaging. The products individually, as I said, I could have been tempted to get this one. There is, for example, a highlighter, and maybe one of the likely products would have been something to try out. But if you do want to get this, I believe, is it already available? Yeah, this is already available, so you can shop this at least on Lisa Eldridge's website. And this is a luxury high-end brand that has generally gotten pretty good reviews, so I do think the quality should be decent if you want to put your money towards this particular launch. e.l.f. is having yet another launch. I feel e.l.f. has been launching quite a lot of products recently. So this is the sheer For It Blush Tint. So wait. Now I'm confused because didn't e.l.f. already have, because this is probably duping Benefit's Benetint. It's meant to be one of those like very liquidy blush products that are supposed to give you a flash of color. I'm a bit confused because I could swear this is something that they already have had in their collection. Then it could be that I remember it wrong. If this is similar to Benetint, I wasn't a fan of Benetint when I tried it. I got it years ago in one of my like Christmas advent calendars. It was actually like a full-size product and I did try it out, but unfortunately why I don't like the Benetint and usually the dupe products is that you have to work with it quite quickly because it sets down relatively fast. You do get the effect. I kind of do understand why people have liked it because it does kind of give you more of this like subtle like flush effect rather than maybe making you look that you have very obviously put on blush. So I can do understand the market for this one, but generally I have not just been a fan of that how quickly you have to work with this formula. But if you've been looking for a sort of dupe for the Benetint and e.l.f. is accessible to you, like this isn't expensive. I think this is only like $6 each, so it is quite inexpensive. This is another release that was included in Monolith Shop's launch. So this is Dede Signature and this is the Chrome Pressed Pigment Book Volume 3. So this is now the third, this like almost all shimmer palette, but then you do get, I believe, again 3 mattes in this one. These are pretty like jewel-toned shimmers, so for me this was an automatic no, and also the fact that I would rather have I'm a rather person that you either are gonna do a 50-50 split between the matte and shimmers, or then you're just gonna do an all matte and all shimmer palette, because with this one especially, because there's like 3 mattes, it still isn't going to make it for me a palette that I can use individually, so I would still have to dig out another palette, so I would then just maybe that they would do an all shimmer palette, but this is of course an individual preference thing. If you are, as I said, interested in this one, you can get it on Monolith Shop, and I believe it has already also launched on Dede Signature's own website, and especially I do think that if you are into your jewel-toned multichromes and duochromes, this could be an interesting palette to look into. Then we have a new release from, which brand was this one? Fantasy Cosmetica, and this I think was also included in the Monolith Shop launch, though I'm a bit unsure where the like nail polish is included, because those are a bit of a more difficult product usually to import overseas, but the palette I think was included in Monolith Shop launch. So this is a, what is this actually called? The Cosmic Cove, I think is the palette name. This is a very, what I would say, for me, this isn't for me. While I do like my colorful palettes, I do believe, for me, this kind of reminds me of a bit of like the older indie palettes where I felt that the color correlation yet wasn't maybe as sophisticated as we now see from indie brands. This is something that I remember seeing from a lot of indie brands when I got into like indie makeup, and I do think a lot of indie brands were making these more colorful palettes because obviously a lot of mainstream brands were not offering them, but I would maybe like, for me as a color correlation, this would be something that would be for me personally difficult to come up with looks. But if you are interested in this one, this is already available on Fantasy Cosmetica's own website, and as I said, you can get this also on Monolith Shop if you're shopping within your EU. So Flowerknows, which is a Chinese brand that is known for their very excessive and extra packaging, they have launched another huge collection, as they always do. So this is the Night Unicorn Align collection. I have tried Flowerknows on my channel. I made a whole like individual brand review video where I sort of went through my experience with their shipping and then the products themselves, and considering the shipping time and the product, like what the product pricing, I wasn't maybe 100% sold with them. There were like products that I liked with them and then products that I don't. Also, I do think with Flowerknows, they are a bit notorious for the fact that they do recycle a lot of their color stories. Well, for example, when I'm just looking at the blush shades in this one, I'm kind of like thinking that they have done these blush shades quite many times over in their collection. Similar with the eyeshadow palettes, we get one more neutral palette, there's one more cool tone palette, and then we have one more like purple leaning cool tone palette. Again, pretty samey what we have seen them before. I do think that if you have never tried Flowerknows and you want to get something from them, this I would still say that it might be worth to try, because I do know for some people this could be indeed the quality of the makeup could be something that they like, but for me, considering how long the shipping took and also for the fact that they aren't exactly a cheap brand, for me this is a no. And as I said, if you have collected a lot of Flowerknows products, you probably have these color stories already. Then let's talk about Shiseido, which is a brand that I definitely don't talk a lot in my channel. They recently came out with a blush that was kind of in a fun, like quite nice packaging, and I was a bit curious. Shiseido is a brand that is quite easily accessible in our department stores. I can actually like go to the store. And in terms of packaging, they are now continuing their, like, how should I say, luck in terms of like at least gaining my interest, because they are coming out with some lipsticks and these look very nice. I like the sort of pink silver packaging combination. I also have to say the shades in this one do look appealing. These are like more pink toned, like muted shades. There is one pop of like more brighter pink also included. What are these? So these are limited edition collection of Technosatin lipsticks, the Technosatin Pink Limited Edition. So I think the Technosatin, this probably is a formula or at least a trademark they have like applied, like gotten for the probably the formulation, so I assume it's something a bit more unique to them. I do have to say the packaging is very pretty, and actually when I look at the shades, it's a satin lipstick formula. This is actually, I'm a person who, if you watched my lip product favorites video that was uploaded on my channel last week, I did discuss that I'm actually a person who really likes their satin bullet lipsticks, which is a formula that has not been trendy in the makeup industry, I think, for the last 10 years or so, so yeah. These probably, if these come to our Shiseido retailers, would I be actually interested in getting these? This is a very pricey brand, I will have to also add it, so it's a Japanese, more like high-end brand, and it's quite pricey, but I could be tempted to just watch these at the department store, because as I said, the packaging, it is quite, there's something very fresh in this one, but I also, as a fan of, obviously, like, a fan of pink color here, so obviously the packaging is also appealing. So this goes to the maybe list, and I would be very like, if I can see this in store, that's already like a plus. Then Nomad Cosmetics has also launched a new palette. This is an all shimmer palette, and this is inspired by Welcome to the Electric Carnival. So this is very much I think a festival themed collection based on the promos they were doing with this one. It's a all shimmer palette. I'm not in a need of a all shimmer palette, but if you are interested in a palette that kind of has like different kind of duochromes in it, because I do believe a lot of these shades are duochromes or multichromes, then this could actually be something to maybe throw in your cart. But if you do own a lot of like indie palettes, and especially like shimmer indie palettes, I don't think this necessarily offers anything new. How is this priced? So $79 US, so it is a bit on the pricier side. In EU, I think it's gonna be probably, considering, because Nomad, they do actually have a EU-based warehouse, so you don't have to pay customs per se, but when you do the conversion and include the VAT to the price, I think in euros this is probably a bit more expensive than $79 US. So, because of the shades are multichromes and duochromes, I do think this is a bit more pricier than their palettes usually go for, especially that this is also, I think, a smaller size than they usually have. But as I said, if you are interested in having one of these like multi or duochrome palettes in your collection, this could be something to look into. And then I think we're on the last release of the day. So this is a palette that I think Monolith Shop said that is going to be on their July or June launch. I don't now remember which one, but this did not make it to the May launch recently. So this is from Ensley Reign, and this is the Change the Channel, and this is I think like a TV inspired eyeshadow palette. This is one of their like very big palettes, so this is probably also going to be pretty pricey. This is a blue heavy palette, so we all know that I'm automatically out with this one, and especially considering just how huge this is and probably also how it's gonna reflect on the pricing, because Ensley Reign likes to do a lot of special shades in their palettes. So for me, it's an easy skip purely because of the color stories, but if you are into especially your maybe blue purple toned palettes and you want something this big in your collection, Ensley range quality generally has been pretty good and you do get some special shades, but for me it's a no because of the color story. Those were the launches I had to discuss for this week. As I said, there were launches that I have already like bought and launches that I'm interested in. As I said, we might be in trouble with the Blend Bunny thing because usually with Blend Bunny is that I think they try to launch a stack of products in the monolith launches because I believe with Blend Bunny it goes that they usually have first order their stock to the US and then they send out the stock to the like other retailers. So I can get it that it's probably then easier to have several launches shipped to the like one individual launch. So we shall see with the Blend Bunny what's gonna happen, because as I said, if the revamped blends palette is included with that like newer collection products, I don't think like getting two huge Blend Bunny palettes in a like same order, that would be I would have to take a bit longer time to then probably test out the palettes because both of them would be so big. And as I said, aside from the eyeshadow palette, there was also some of the cheap products that I was pretty curious about. But anyway, comment down what were your favorite launches from this week. If you like this video, push the like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell button if you want to get notifications from future content. You can also find me with the same nickname, Makeup Hedgehog, on Instagram. I hope I see you soon on the video. Bye bye!